Welcome to the Positively You podcast. I'm your host, Jessie Larson, and I'm passionate about helping you shift the way you think so you can create a life you're absolutely obsessed with. Each week, I'll be bringing you a guest or a thought that's going to help you feel more optimistic and equipped to take real action. Get ready to push past limiting beliefs, ditch that negativity, and start showing up as the best and most positive version of you. Girl, let's do this. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Positively You podcast. I am Jessie, your host as always, and I'm super excited to have you guys here. I'm actually really happy to be recording this podcast because I've tried to record it a number of times and was having the worst technical difficulties in the world. The microphone, I have no idea what happened to my microphone, but it sounded like, I don't know, we were on an airplane or something. It was the worst sound ever. So finally got it fixed. Actually, I didn't get it fixed. I just threw it out and went and got a new one. And here we are. So, oh, heaven help us. Anyway, I wanted to start out today's episode and kind of start highlighting and featuring these a little bit more, is to just say thank you to those of you who leave reviews. They are amazing. They completely make my day. They're so nice to hear and to get good feedback that you know my efforts and the things are making an impact in your life, and they also help other people to be able to find the show, and it's just, you know, you put good in, you get good out, and all of the things. So I wanted to share one today. It's a 5-star rating from Emily Abundant Grace. It says, life-changing. I love listening to Jessie. She gives actionable tips that changed my life. Her affirmations episode will blow your mind. Thank you, Jessie. You are such a light. Thank you, Emily, for your amazing review. That was so kind. And you're right. The affirmations episode is so good, if I do say so myself. If you have not listened to that one yet, it's episode number 7. And I talk about an affirmation that you might not have thought of yet that you really, it'll blow your mind. So if you haven't listened to it, just make sure you tune into episode 7. All right, so let's get into what I want to talk to you guys about today. I want to talk about 2020. No, I don't. Nobody wants to keep talking about 2020, right? But I do want to talk about one of my favorite things that has come out of 2020, one of the habits and rituals that we started. We started it kind of out of desperation, I'll be honest, when, let's think back to March and April of last year. I know we don't want to go back there. We won't stay long, but it was the first part of quarantine, right? And we had no clue what we were getting ourselves into, but everybody was home. My husband was home. My kids were home. We were all just home. And it was early spring, so it wasn't like we were outside a bunch, but we really just needed something. And so one day we said, we're just going to go on a walk this evening. And we got our kids in the house, we turned on a show, told them not to answer the door, and went for a walk around the neighborhood. We were gone under 30 minutes, and it was like this breath of fresh air. I mean, literally, it was a breath of fresh air because we were outside, but it was so nice. We were able to go, we were able to get out of our house and walk around and move our bodies and connect and talk and not feel like this weight on ourselves. And so that's kind of how that habit started. And I know you guys, if you follow over on Instagram, which if you don't, hello, come over there and say hi. But you guys know I post about our daily walk all the time. And that's exactly what it turned into. It turned into a daily walk where we started looking forward to the time of day where we got to get outside. We got to work out, not even work out. We got to just move, right? And change our scenery around a little bit and connect and talk. So that is something we started in 2020, a little bit, like I said, out of desperation, but it's turned into something that has been incredibly beneficial and that we really, really look forward to. So we continued all through 2020, and it's going to keep going into 2021 and for as long as we want and need it to. So what we do and where we go. We actually live on the mountain, not like on the mountain, but we live on a really steep hill. And so like our walk, we walk out of our house and we go immediately up a hill. We're like huffing and puffing, and then it flattens out a little bit, and then we walk down a hill, kind of around a little corner, and then back up a hill, flatten out, and then back down. So it's not like this easy breezy walk. But here's the thing. If we had to get into our cars and drive to a different location, there are plenty of locations around our house that are beautiful. There's a pond that we could walk around. There are trails that are flat and really pretty, you know. But like, we needed to make it easy to be able to keep it consistent. And that's the thing with so many habits, right? Like if we had to get into our cars, if we had to drive to a location, if we had to do all of these things, it just wouldn't happen. So we deal with the hills, and you know, and it's going to make us stronger, right? So even if you live in a place where it's like not ideal or convenient to walk, maybe, like, you can still figure it out. I mean, I guess there are some places where maybe there's not like a sidewalk and it could be dangerous if it's like a really, really busy road, but there's always a solution, right? So I love it because, like I said, it's something that I get to look forward to, and that it's become kind of this daily habit, this thing, just this part of our rhythm, this part of our routine. But I like it because it crosses off a whole bunch of quote unquote to-dos on my list, right? I get to get outside, which I think is really important. I think we're inside so much, and especially in the winter. And it's forced me really to be outside this winter, which I don't normally do. So that's good. It helps us connect. We're able to be just one-on-one. We don't have to find a babysitter. We don't have to do those things and I'll get more into that in just a second. But we get to connect. We get to talk. We don't take our headphones. We don't listen to music. We don't listen to a book on tape or anything. I do those sometimes on my regular walks if I want to, like if I'm by myself or whatever. But this is a time that we use to connect. And it's really interesting, some of the conversations that we'll have when we're just out and about walking that we wouldn't have if we were just at our house. So that is another reason why I love it. And then also, I mean, the benefits, right, of movement. So I get to cross off movement off my list. So I'm crossing off connection. I'm crossing off moving. I'm crossing off being outside. Like all of these really, really good things that I want in my life, I can knock those all out with just this one habit. But I want to talk to you a little bit about how we're able to do that, because we do have kids. And I know if you're listening, you most likely have kids. They might be older, they might be younger. So my oldest is almost 10 and my youngest is almost 5. So we're getting to that stage where we've got a little bit more freedom, right? We're not tied down to babies. We're not tied down to toddlers, but we're also not quite in the clear yet, right? Like 9 and 10 is kind of that iffy stage. So we aren't going far. We're going around the block, right? I mean, we're gone in between. I think our walks, my watch always has us tracked at like 27 to 29 minutes. So we actually got a Gabb wireless phone, and I love, love, love the Gabb phone. I will leave a link and a discount code in the description for you guys. But I love it because it's not a smartphone, but it's also not like a flip phone. It looks like a smartphone. It's flat like an iPhone, but it can call, it can text, and honestly, that's about it. It has a calculator. It's got like an FM radio. They can record their voices and stuff, but they can't like send or receive pictures. They can't access the internet. They can't access any apps. It's basically a glorified home phone. And so we feel really comfortable being able to leave that as kind of a home phone where if there is any sort of an accident or whatever, they can get a hold of us, right? And we've got a little bit of connection with them. I get it. If your kids, you're like, that's great for you. My oldest is 5, or I've got babies, or I've just got toddlers. If you can't leave your little kids at home to go out on a walk, a family walk is great. And I'm not going to pretend and say it's the same thing, because it's not, right? It's just not. But something is better than nothing, right? You can still cross off getting outside, getting movement, and you can connect as a family, you know, and then you can find a different time to connect one-on-one with your spouse. The awesome thing about when they're little kids is that a lot of times you've got a pretty good routine with like bedtime and other things. But like I've always said, and I will say it here, I'll say it a million times more, I'm never going to tell you that this is the one thing you should do and you should do it exactly this way, because one size does not fit all, ever, ever, ever. You need to take things and make them work for your unique situation. So it's all about getting an idea, getting inspiration, and then morphing it and taking what will work to make it work for your situation and be beneficial for you, right? So, do I think a daily walk is amazing? Yes. So take that as your inspiration, right? And then make it work for your family in your situation. So there you go. There's the spiel on it. Like I said, I could keep talking about this forever and ever and ever. It's my favorite thing that has come out of 2020. There's not a lot of favorites, to be honest. I mean, it was bad, but whatever. We'll probably look back with like rose-colored glasses, or maybe we'll look back and just have it completely blocked out. But I wanted to just share the habit that has made a huge difference in my year. I really think that because we had this outlet and because we had this thing that we got to look forward to at the end of the day, it made a huge difference. It made a huge difference in our family life and in our connection and just in my mental health, being able to get outside and walk and move. So I would challenge you or encourage you to find a way to make a consistent walk a part of your daily routine or in your life. So a really, really quick episode today. I just wanted to get it out. My favorite habit that came out of 2020. And I would love to know what good came out of 2020 for you. So send me a DM, message me. I love hearing from you guys. Connecting with you is one of my very favorite things about this podcast. And thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, have an amazing week. Hey guys, in this episode, I mentioned Gabb Wireless, and I just want to let you know why I love it so much. I was super stressed for a long time over when to get my kids a phone. I just saw so many issues with handing over a smartphone, and I also stressed about my kids getting older, going places, wanting more freedom and independence, and me not being able to contact them. So when I first saw the Kickstarter campaign for Gabb Wireless a few years ago, I was floored. This is totally the solution I was dreaming of. A phone that looks like a smartphone with everything I need it to do and none of the stuff I don't. The Z2 Gabb phone can call and text. It has the basics that I need, but don't worry, it also does have some fun capabilities. It's got a camera and you can record video, but there's no sending or receiving, so it's safe. It's just there for your kids. It also has music and FM radio, a calculator, a calendar, the basics, but none of the crap that your young kids just don't need. No internet, no social media, no apps. You can find out more about Gabb Wireless by going to gabbwireless.com or by hitting the link in the show notes below. If you like what you see and you're like, heck yes, use the code POSITIVE to save $10 on your Gabb phone, the safest first phone for kids. Thank you for hanging out with me again today. I'm so glad you pressed play. If you want to take a quick second to share this episode with someone you think would love it too, that would be amazing. If you're loving the show, make sure you go and leave a review on iTunes. Reviews are like magic for podcasts, and your review will help get this show into the ears of more amazing women just like you. And come find me over on Instagram. I'm there at positively.jessie, and I cannot wait to hang out with you some more. So until next time, have an amazing week.